No
Spoilers.
Oh, you don't have to worry about your hair this time, Bubby.
Just call me Bubby.
What the Bubby? Did you just call me?
Well, how's it going, guys? Andrew here.
And Connor.
And Caleb.
And Matt.
Welcome to a initial reaction, spoiler-free. Absolutely no spoilers. They're gone out of our mouths and our thoughts. Rise of Skywalker, boys.
Ooh, wee mama.
It's here.
It is here. We have seen it. Connor saw it at 6. We saw it at 9. We had some shitty IHOP afterwards. And we're about an hour behind schedule of when we should have started recording this podcast. So
We had a schedule.
not a schedule, but
I'd say ours fair.
anyways, we're here to just kind of give our thoughts about this movie. So who wants to kick it off? Awkward silence.
It's okay.
I think it's okay.
Middle of the road.
It is a fine movie.
It left me irritated because they had to basically just make up for episode 8.
Yeah.
And so the way that this ended, it would have made me happier if this was episode 8 with a little bit of the ending tying over into episode 9, which would be another completely different movie.
It feels like JJ and Kathleen went on to Star Wars Reddit boards and saw every single little thing that everyone has ever had a problem with in terms of this trilogy and even previous installments. Not really the prequels, because I think they just really wanted like don't think about the prequels. You know,
There's really
they
no
don't
references
give a
to the
shit about
prequels at all.
I mean, if you think about it, that's almost like 60 something years ago.
Yeah,
Long
So-
ago.
it is
So
long.
yeah, but yeah, it just feels like they're like an angry YouTube commenter making a movie, and that's what this felt like.
They're just like, fine, you want this? We'll put it in there.
Fine, you don't like how Luke is? Well, we'll do something else.
It's just like this movie, like right off the bat, first 5 minutes they answer like 20 questions, and you're like, oh, okay. And then it just keeps going, and it's just jumping from character to character, what they're doing, what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then they finally get put on their quest, and then
Their mission that they can't fail. That they tell us like 15 times.
yeah, like they were
I
like
didn't notice that.
they were
do
like
say that a
pitching
lot.
it as like life. I kind of forgot about that till you just mentioned it right now. They were just like, we're probably not going to come back from this. Like, I didn't really feel any weight in this movie.
Oh.
Not really.
No,
There weren't big stakes.
like I don't
Like there
think.
were, but like
Even
I
like
didn't
when
feel
certain
like
things to have to certain characters, it's like,
There was like I remember
Yeah.
like there was like no moments of me like holding my breath or being like
There were tense moments for me, like, you know, the climax and everything.
I guess there was a little bit there.
I was
yeah.
just like, oh, but I think I was like really just kind of like trying to buy into the movie. I was like, I want this to be good.
I know,
Like, episode 8 sucked, and I was just
There was one thing that we're all on board was freaking ridiculous, but that will be a spoiler that we just were fed up about.
you guys will have to tune in for that on Monday.
Yeah, Monday.
Monday.
It's just, I don't know. It's not awful. You're going to see it, and I think everybody, if you go in, just going to see a Star Wars movie, you're going to come out fine, but it's nowhere the feeling you're going to walk out of Force Awakens or any of the other ones if you've seen them. Like this one, I can see people enjoying it more than The Last Jedi. I feel like I walked out with the same like mentality as The Last Jedi. Like I kind of just walked out and was like, okay, that was a Star Wars movie. But it sucks more now because at The Last Jedi I was like, well, at least we have the next one. This one I'm like, well, shit.
Yeah.
There's not a next one.
just give it 10 years.
this one. It was just like it's like I said, you know, they were trying to make up for The Last Jedi, and so there was just a lot of things that they brought in really quickly, and it just
They have these really big ideas that they're bringing in the last film of their trilogy.
yeah.
And it's just like you can't do that.
Like,
that's
yeah.
why we don't feel anything is like
Right.
this is also abrupt. Like
Yeah.
To compare it to something else that came out this year, Game of Thrones, it just felt very rushed, and that made the ending just feel meh.
Yeah.
Just very meh. Whereas this isn't as offensive as season 8 of Game of Thrones.
No.
Season 8? Star Wars Episode 8?
I equate Rey's
Trash.
lineage to who ends up getting the throne. I feel like that's a good comparison.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like who they chose for Rey to be related to is just like obviously you don't see it coming, but you're like, really? Like that is the direction you chose?
It was a pretty big, like, I mean, I guess you could call it a major plot twist, like for the whole entire series, but it's
It's
also
a stretch because you kind of think about it. It's like, when did that happen?
And it felt so like fixing what Ryan Johnson messed up.
Yeah, it's like, well, technically we're not doing something different, but at the same time we are. And it's just like you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Because like there was that stupid line where like Kylo was just like, "No, I lied. Like I didn't want."
And
you
he
to
literally just said, "I never lied."
Yeah, like I don't want you to know who you're from. And it's like, well, in the fucking previous movie, you told her she didn't have anybody. Like, it's just
General Hux is basically the equivalent of like these couple movies. Like he is the embodiment. First movie, I'm a fucking Nazi. Second movie, I don't really know what I'm doing. In this movie, well, I can't say it.
Yeah.
it's pretty much if
Can't say it.
when you see the movie General Hux, yeah, that's a good way to
The
put
first
it.
time you see General Hux is just a nice generalization.
He's just done.
He's done. He tapped out.
Yeah.
He's
like,
mentally
dude,
done.
I'm so done with this.
He's done
Yeah.
working
And like
for
it
Kylo.
does make sense. Like his big plan just blew up in the first movie. It's just like
I forgot about that scene when he has all of them there and he's just fucking yelling.
That was
Yeah.
a good scene. Like,
Yeah.
that
In
was
this
good.
movie?
No, in
like,
Force Awakens. Like when
Oh,
he's
like
like the
the-
big.
when they're on
Monster
Starkiller
yeah.
Base, and he's like, "The world will bow down before the first order."
Matt is loving his high pitched voice.
I'm sick. So like,
and that was like one of the best looking scenes in the movie too. Like when they had them all with the
It's like snow.
flags, carpet things, and all the stormtroopers out there. When he literally was a Nazi.
Yeah, it was,
Redheaded Hitler.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
I mean, also the music wasn't that like.
No, there's nothing memorable. There was one memorable thing though.
From music.
Do you remember who was in this a lot less than she was in the second or the last one?
Yeah.
Motherfucking Rose, bitch.
Motherfucking Rose.
I feel like they were just like, she was just like, I'm gonna stay here, and I was just like, yes.
This is just like Disney. Like
I don't know
You should probably stay.
how you guys feel, but I thought Leia was very awkward. I thought she felt totally out of place.
Yeah. I mean,
Because
Like, what do you do?
it's like you can't go into this not like knowing that she's not here anymore.
Right.
It's
She didn't
it's
film
way
this.
too obvious.
I think they did
technology
good
was
though
fine,
because
There was
wasn't
like this.
obvious.
There was like this one. It was the conversation. Like it was probably the most lengthy conversation between her and Rey, and the way Leia was looking up at Rey, I could tell she wasn't looking at Rey. Like they really tried to structure it like it was, but like it just didn't. Like the eye line
like,
wasn't matching.
Rey's
with
not
me.
that tall.
No, like it just wasn't matching with me. How it was. They tried their darndest, and they did a good. They pulled it off. It looked like she was there for some parts. Some parts it didn't.
I mean, a good 90-10.
I think there was like one or two shots that I definitely like. I was just like, you just kind of feel like you're floating and like you're in the scene, but like you're just
Like
added.
episode 8.
And it's like what
Boring.
it's like what she's wearing the same thing like the entire movie
Oh, yeah.
too, and it's just like everyone else
Everybody
is
is.
like dirty and tired
Uh-huh.
and like she's just like I'm gonna wear my little purple outfit. I'm feeling
bro,
cute
that was
today.
another reason why I hated episode 8. It was that fucking Superman scene.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Floating.
yeah.
Basically.
Fucking Mary Poppins, y'all.
Like that's something like these movies are doing where they're like introducing these new force powers that have never been brought up before.
Yeah, like this
like,
one had
okay.
like teleportation or something.
you-
It's not that big of a spoiler.
No, it's fine. But I mean,
It
at
was
the
introduced in the last movie, so
at the end of the day, we're
Are
gonna.
you talking about the connection they
you're
had?
talking about the
You guys are both talking about very.
We're not talking about this or this. We're talking about this.
another SpongeBob.
I mean, I'm gonna go see it again with my parents. Like that's our like our tradition is like to see a movie at Christmas, and that's the movie we're seeing. But like,
Sure, you don't want to see Cats.
I honestly, I kind of
Playmobil.
Or
See
Playmobil
it with your brothers.
But like, I'm not like super excited.
your
I am
brothers.
excited to like give it a second watch and like maybe pick up on some stuff or see how I feel. But like, I'm not like dying to go see
The
it
only
again.
stuff I'd want to try to pick up on is literally the first 5 minutes. Because so much is shoved down our throats in the beginning. It's like, wait, what did I just process? Like, what was this exposition?
Yeah.
It's just like, it's really fast.
My first impression is just, I don't know. I mean,
It's just overcompensating the
It's
movie.
kind of like just like a sucker punch. Like,
Also, both of our Connor's viewing and our viewing had some cringy ass hand clapping in it.
Oh, yeah, you wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, that was.
Ewoks.
A lot of.
Yeah, it's just
It's just like,
Trying to start a clap and then awkwardly going an extra second.
And then the
realizing you
lovers to our
failed.
left would comically just be like,
it's like a clapper.
5 minutes, 5
The
seconds.
people
after.
next to me like knew it. They were just like, I'm not fucking clapping. Like I'm glad I didn't have clappers next to me, but
It was early on in the movie. It might have been like after the title crawl or something, and someone tried to clap or something, and like it was like a couple awkward seconds, and then someone like jokingly like did it again, and then someone else did it. It's like, okay, that was kind of funny.
oh, that's good.
I'm like-
Nothing will be as bad as like those claps were awkward, but when we saw Endgame and when the one dude stood up and started clapping like in the very front and like nobody else joined him, I thought that was the funniest.
During which part, like the end?
I think it was when Captain America like grabbed the hammer and like held it up for the
stood
first.
up.
He stood like he was like second row.
Wow.
Stood up and like was clapping like and nobody joined. It was great. He was
That's
so.
so embarrassing.
He was ready to start something, but but I just kind of want to start talking about spoilers.
Yeah, it's
just
go time.
Dive into it. So guys,
Pizza time.
comment below if you've seen it. No spoilers though for people. There are some spoilers, heavy ones. And we will see you guys at the spoiler section of the podcast. So this has been Andrew.
And Connor.
Caleb,
Yeah, man.
I was waiting for it.
Peace.
Good.
Bye.
Love you.